Hey everybody, welcome to the Miser's Guide to Evony. In this video, we're going to be looking at Blazons, specifically those for setting up ranged troops. Now, I've said in a previous video that I have this largely untouched. I haven't done a thing with regard to Blazons since the very release of Keep 40 and Blazons a few months later. I have not touched anything. I've just been collecting Blazons chests to kind of see where I end up. So I haven't even looked at what I have available, and this video is not going to be designed in a way where I know what I'm doing. I'm going to be going through and seeing what I see and working with what I've got. Now, this is in the perspective of a free-to-play player. I don't have the access to that somebody that purchases a lot of packs and gets a lot of Blazon chests might have. I'm looking at it purely from someone that has been collecting and that is going to put together what they've got. So keep that in mind as you're watching this video. Now, I've already opened up all my Blazon chests, and from what I see in my inventory from several months of collecting, I have 220 Blazons, and they're of course all level 1 because I haven't upgraded anything, and I'm not going to be focused on upgrading Blazons. I'm just going to be looking at setting them up and what you should be looking for when you are setting up Blazons for this specific type of troop. So I'm going to be looking at ranged troops in this video. I'll look at the rest in future videos, but let's just keep it very concise and very focused on ranged troops here. So to go to Blazons and to work with your Blazons, you need to go to your archer camp, click on Blazons, and you will see this menu here. Let's take a quick look at the information to see what they provide us with details on how Blazons work. It says, okay, welcome to the Blazons, rare equipment, great. And then it gives us a little guide. It says you can equip up to 6 Blazons. So it looks kind of like the page that you would equip gear, right? You got the 6 slots, and each one is a specific type that goes into that slot. You can get up to 10 Blazons every day by killing Sphinxes, up to 1 by gathering resources, and you can get more from activities and purchasing. Like, I think you can get them in one of the last activity chests, for example. And I can't say that I've been very dedicated in this game recently, so I probably have less than someone who's a fully active player, even free to play. You might have more than me, which is fine. We're just going to go with what I've got. Blazons are divided into 8 sets. You have humility, honesty, compassion, valor, justice, sacrifice, honor, and soul. And there's about, I think there's 2 sets that are specific to each type. So for ranged troops, I believe that we are looking at valor and compassion. You can consume spare Blazons to upgrade Blazon level. So basically what this means is after I've finished deciding on what I'm going to have as my actual Blazons, given what I have, I'm going to upgrade them further by using ones that are complete crap. And I'm going to use those to sacrifice and increase the level of my Blazons. And I'm not doing that in this video, but it is useful to know that you get random attributes along the way. We'll talk about that. And the Blazons basically improve as you level them up, but it is very difficult to level them up beyond a few levels as a free-to-play because you just don't have access to a whole lot. Let's get started. So I'm looking at ranged troop here. You can always navigate between. So even though I went to my archer camp, I could have went to my stables, which goes to mounted, and then switched over to range. I mean, any of the training centers will allow you to access the Blazon menu. Now, if I click on, let's say, this top left one, I'm going to see what's available for that slot. This is not all of my Blazons that I have in possession. Like I said, I have 220, but these are the ones dedicated to this actual slot. And it's kind of grayed out, but you can see there's a symbol there on each one. And each one will have the related Blazons that go into that slot. So these Blazons that I just clicked here on the second button are not the same that you see on the first. You see the logo is a little bit different. So let's take a look at, we've got compassion and valor here. And these are the shadow Blazons. These are the ones that fit into that slot. The ocean Blazons fit the second. The earth go into the next. So the element, or whatever you want to call it, on each of these Blazons is just a slot designation. So looking at the first one, I have level 1 Compassion Blazon, Shadow. I've got several of them. They're not all the same. So when you have a Blazon, it rolls basic attributes. This one is ranged troop attack on monsters. I've got 2 ranged troop attack on monsters. This one I've got ranged troop load, defending ranged troop attack, and this one I've got reinforcing ranged troop attack. Now these are important. The basic attributes are important, but I would say that they're not as important as the actual troop or Blazon set bonuses. So let's take a look here. Let's say I put on this first one, ranged troop against monsters, which definitely won't be the one that I take. But if I put on, that was compassion, and I put on another compassion, it will give me some compassion set bonus, and it'll tell me what I get. So here I'm getting, when defending, enemy ground troop attack minus 25%. Let's fill that out with compassion, and let's see what we have as a set bonus. Compassion, compassion, and compassion. So when I fully do that, I can see that I have some debuffs here for ground troop attack, mounted troop defense, and the final 6 set bonus I have defending, ranged troop attack, defense, and HP going up by 15%. So the compassion seems to be focused more on the defensive side of your archers. Let's take a quick look and unequip these, and we'll go look at the other set that's available. So that was compassion. Let's take a look now at valor. Valor, there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the last one, 6. So the valor set says when attacking, we have some debuffs against ground troop attack, mounted troop defense, that's familiar. And then we have attacking, ranged troop attack, defense, and HP. So the first consideration you want to make when you are equipping Blazons and you're setting this whole thing up is, are you going to be focusing these troops on defense, or are you going to be focusing them on offense? So for me, in an offensive alliance that competes a lot in battlefields and competitive natures, I'm going to be looking more at using my ranged troops offensively. It might not be the case for everybody, but ranged troops are typically a lot more, in my opinion, useful offensively than they are defensively. So I'm going to go with Valor set. And that was my first consideration here. Now, knowing that I'm going with Valor set, I'm going to unequip these again. And I'm going to look at all my Valor pieces, and I'm going to see which ones have the best basic attributes that I want to go with. They're not ideal. Like somebody that has huge access and a huge pool of Blazons will have a much better situation in which they can choose Valors that have really good basic attributes. Mine are not going to be so, but as long as I got that 6-piece bonus, I'm going to be happy with that for now. Let's see. This Valor has ranged troop load, ranged training capacity. That's not all that useful to me right now. This one has ranged troop attack on monster. Not that useful for me. Reinforcing ranged troop attack. Slightly useful. Valor, what else do I have? Reinforcing. So far this is my favorite. Even though this is not an offensive stat, I don't mind having something that's useful in any situation. So if I want to reinforce someone, I'd much rather reinforcing than attack against monsters, because I'm not going to attack my monsters with range troops. I'm just not going to do it. So those would be useless basic attributes. This one is at least mildly useful. I don't have anything else. That's a pretty crappy selection that I have to go with here. But as long as I have my set bonus, I'm happy. So I'm going to start with that. Let's take a look at the Valor in here. And I got to stick the Valor to keep that set bonus. Ranged troop defense, that's useful. Reinforcing ranged troop defense, that is slightly less useful, but it's still useful. Valor Ocean Blazon, I've got training capacity in rally ranged troop defense. This is useful. So offensively, when we're doing rallies, that will be useful. Is it as good as the other one? I don't know. I think I prefer the 6%, the 0.6%, and these are going to scale up, I believe, as we level. I think I prefer the versatility of having range troop defense offensively and defensively over just in rally. So far, the first one is my favorite. Let's take a look at this one. We've got range troop defense and load. So now it's load versus reinforcing range defense, and I think I'm still favoring that first one. Two more choices. That's garbage, and that is not as useful. So I'm going to go with that first one. That first one here had, yeah, range defense, and yeah, just double checking here. I'm going to lock those because in the future, I don't want to necessarily have to worry about accidentally having used those to upgrade other ones. So using the lock button makes it so that they are no longer going to be available to upgrade others. Yeah, you would hate to accidentally use the ones that you're actually planning to equip. All right, so we're looking for more Valor. We're into the Earth Blazons now. We have in rally range troop defense and defending range troop defense. This is not bad. So I've got the offensive in rally and I've got defensive here. That's looking pretty good so far. This one I've got the plus 6.6% and marching 0.7. Yeah, I like that too. It's going to be a tough call between those two. So far, I think I'm leaning towards this. Any other valors? Yeah, we have this one, reinforcing, and then in rally. These are a lot better choices than the other ones, but so far that second one is still what I'm looking for, and reinforcing and defending. Not bad at all if you're going defensive, but since I'm primarily looking at offensive, I'm going to look at this one being my primary choice. So let's select that. And we're on our fourth slot now. Valor again. Range troop training capacity, this one is very useful, but that one is not. So hopefully we'll find better. Range troop HP in rally. Okay, I like this. This is my top choice so far. Any other Valor? That's it? Wow. That's unfortunate. Only two options, but I don't mind this one. That's some decent rolls there. Valor here, we have Valor Wind Blazon. We've got defending and in rally. So defending is a great stat, but I'm not looking really defensively. I'm looking offensively here. If I have to get some defensively, that's fine, but I'd prefer offensive. This is garbage. This is good. This one is good. Garbage. All right. So I think the better choice for me here was one of the first ones. Gotta find it again. Oh man, I lost it. Okay, I think we're gonna have to go through it again. Defending and in rally. So I don't mind this one. This is a good mix. I don't do a lot of solo attacks. And so if you are someone that is often doing solo archer hits, then the in rally won't be beneficial to you. You'd want something that's more marching or just straight range troop HP. But since the majority of what I do offensively is going to be in rally, in battlefields, and so on, this is useful. And the defending, I'm going to be hit. Of course, I'm going to be hit. So that is also going to be useful. All right, so far, and now I have to go through it again. Number 3 is my first choice. That's bad. That's not as good. That's not as good. All right, so number 3 is the one I'm going to go with. Valor, Wind, Blazon. Yes, let's go with that. And then the final slot, let's look at the Valors here. Monsters and load, no thank you. Defending, range troop attack. Oh, it's okay, but troop load, not really my cup of tea. Defending, range troop attack, good. Monsters, not good. And monsters. And there's not a lot of good choices here. So I'm really looking just at comparing single attributes. I don't even care about the monsters. I've got defending, and that's it. So man, there's just no options for me in this one. And that's going to be the big difference between a spender and a non-spender. A non-spender is going to be very limited in the basic attributes. Everyone should be able to collect the full 6 set, but you're going to be very limited in the basic attribute roles. Like, hopefully you got lucky and you got 2 useful stats like I did on some, but unfortunately on some other ones you might only get 1, or you might get 0 and you might have to replace it. But let's see what we got here. Defending and ranged troop load, or defending and ranged troop attack on monsters. I will never hit monsters. Never. Load is almost next to useless. So it's really, I really don't have a choice. I just have to go with this one, which kind of sucks. Let me make sure to lock everything. Okay. And when I eventually go to start upgrading these, which I'll look at in a future video, I'm going to really focus on the ones that actually have good basic attributes. Those are the ones that I'm going to focus on upgrading. So this one, reinforcing, I'd like to replace it at some point, because reinforcing isn't going to be as useful as the pure attacking for me. This one is ranged troop defense, which is great. Reinforcing, not that great. This one is marching and defense. So this one is probably the one that I would look at upgrading, because it has very useful stats all around for me. Range troop beach bait. This one also I will upgrade. This one, maybe I would upgrade. Like, the defending is useful. In rally, absolutely useful. But I don't know. I think I would upgrade the other ones before that. I've looked at that, and this one is just not good. So there's a couple that I would look at replacing eventually as I collect more Blazons. There's a couple that I've already looked at, and they're decent for going and for upgrading. And so those are some of the considerations that I have when I'm setting up Blazons. Now, something like this that I said I would upgrade. No, not this one. This one that I said I would upgrade. As I upgrade, I'm going to be consuming other ones. So let's say I have, I'm not going to use I want to make sure that I do my ground mounted and everything before I actually look at upgrading. But when you do select these and you upgrade them, see, I sacrifice 1 level 1, it gives me 100 experience, 200 to get to level 2. So it's going to be consuming them and they're going to disappear. But when I do get to level 10 Blazon, it's going to roll a random attribute here. It could be great. I could get another ranged troop defense, or in rally, or marching, or something. Or I could get troop load, or attack versus monsters. You don't really know, and that's one of the difficulties with Blazons. You could have something that starts off really great, and then the attributes that are unlocked are garbage. Or you could have something that is garbage, and they start to unlock good attributes. It's just the luck of the draw. But starting off strong, starting off with good Blazons like this that you can upgrade, at least you have the certainty that you have 2 good basic attributes that will help you out. Those are some of the considerations I am looking at when I am setting up my Blazon. So this range troop one, for now, until I start upgrading, is set up and it's good to go. A couple pieces I'll upgrade, a couple pieces I will swap off when I get better replacements, and so I'm not going to upgrade them just yet. But that should give you an idea of what you should be doing to set up your Blazons to begin this terrible grind of trying to get good Blazons that are going to be effective for your type of play. Now, if I was looking at a defensive setup for ranged, I would have done a little bit differently. I would have been focusing on range troop defense, defending, maybe a little bit of reinforcing, but that's not quite as useful because that's at somebody else's city. So just make the considerations with what kind of play you're going to be doing. But make sure you start off by looking at the sets and going the direction that you want to go. After that, you start to look at the individual attributes of each Blazon and trying to make the best of what you have to work with. Hopefully this video has been useful. I'll have the other ones coming up as well that discuss ground, mounted, siege, and then we'll start to look at upgrading and what that looks like. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next Blazon video. Thank you so much for watching this video and supporting the channel. If you liked what you saw, please consider hitting the like button and checking out other videos on the Miser's Guide to Evony. I'll see you in the next video.